Coming up on this week's episode of Rambler Sports Locker, we learn more about the shooting at the University of Virginia this weekend and discuss some new signings made by a women's volleyball team.
Plus, we take a look back at the first men and women's basketball games and look ahead to the Myrtle Beach Invitational kicking off this week.
I'm Nate Keough.
And I'm Evan Nave.
All this and more coming up next. Welcome back to Rambler Sports Locker. We begin this week's episode on a somber note as 3 football players at the University of Virginia were killed this weekend in an on-campus shooting. 2 other students were injured as well. Executive producer Gabbi Lumma has more.
On Sunday, November 13th, 5 University of Virginia students were shot after returning from a school field trip to Washington, D.C. to see a play. The 3 which were fatally shot were members of the university's football team, 20-year-old Devin Chandler, 20-year-old Lavelle David Jr., and 22-year-old Deshaun Perry. In Virginia's game against the University of Pittsburgh on November 12th, Perry made 2 tackles. The shooting occurred just after 10:15, sparking a 12-hour campus-wide shelter-in-place order, which lasted until 11 a.m. on Monday morning. The order was lifted after the suspect, 22-year-old and former UVA football player Christopher Donnell Jones Jr., was arrested. He was charged with 3 counts of second-degree murder and 3 counts of using a handgun in the commission of a felony, according to the Associated Press. In a press conference on Monday, University of Virginia President Jim Ryan said authorities didn't have a full understanding of the motive or circumstances of the shooting. The shelter-in-place left a university-wide feeling of being shaken and panic. I was able to speak with a sophomore who was asked to remain anonymous about her experience. Quote, "I was lucky to be in my dorm because others were stuck at libraries or the gym all night. I woke up to see that an ex-football player had killed 3 football players and shot 2 others. The UVA facility, staff, and police have been great about all of this and are providing necessary resources for the students," unquote. Following the news of the players' passings, an outpour of mourning began on Twitter. Classmates, teachers, coaches, family members, and teammates expressed their devastation and prayers for the families of the victims. Virginia football head coach Tony Elliott released a statement the same morning where he expressed his devastation as well. Elliott described the 3 men as, quote, "incredible young men with huge aspirations and extremely bright futures," unquote. Other tributes included sports programs across the nation tweeting photos taking a moment of silence for the players and teachers, recalling their memories of the players, all describing them as men who could light up a room at any moment. The UVA community came together on Monday night with a candlelit vigil to honor Perry, Chandler, and David, whom for many were classmates, friends, and fond students. All of us here at Rambler Sports Locker would like to extend our thoughts and prayers to everyone affected by this horrible tragedy. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm executive producer Gabbi Lumma.
Thanks, Gabbi. All of us at RSL extend our thoughts for those affected by this tragedy.
In Chicago sports news, Bears quarterback Justin Fields has garnered attention for his performance over the last few games. Here's Oliver Allen with the story.
Thanks, Evan. Imagine, it's week 3 of the NFL season, and the Bears are coming off a close 23-20 win over the Houston Texans, improving to 2-1 on the season. All is well, right? Not so fast. 2021 11th overall pick Justin Fields is coming off his 3rd straight game with under 10 completions. Fields himself called the performance trash, and on the episode of The Ramble the following week, I quoted that Fields hasn't looked like the franchise QB the Bears drafted. As many Bears fans, including myself, wondered whether Fields was a solution to a team that hasn't hosted the Lombardi Trophy in over 35 years. Fast forward 7 weeks, and Fields has gone from bust to best, as the recent CBS article claimed he was the best quarterback from the 2021 draft class. So, what changed? Well, since rushing for under 50 yards in each of his first 3 games, Fields has been running wild as of late. After setting a regular season record for most rushing yards in a single regular season game by a quarterback with 178 yards in Week 9, Fields went on to put up 147 yards on the ground the next week. Fields leads all quarterbacks and is 6th in the league with 749 rushing yards. As well as thriving in the run game, Fields has vastly improved his passing. After averaging just 99 passing yards per game the first 3 games of the year, Fields has averaged 170 since, with a passing touchdown in his last 6 games, including 7 over his last 3, making him a true dual threat. After some initial panic, it looks like Fields is finally turning into the franchise quarterback the Bears faithful have dreamt about for years. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Oliver Allen.
Thanks, Oliver. We will be sure to watch this weekend as the Fields lead the Bears against the Jets.
The Loyola women's volleyball team clinched the Atlantic 10 regular season title with a win over the Davidson Wildcats at Gentile Arena this past Friday. After securing the top seed in the A10 tournament, the Ramblers also secured 3 new signings for next year's squad. Vanesa Hoxha has all the info.
'Tis the season of giving thanks, and head coach Amanda Berkeley just got a lot more to be thankful for. I'm Vanesa Hoxha, and welcome back, everyone, to another segment of New Blurs on the Block. You may not have seen them yet, or perhaps even heard of them just yet, but we've got some new blurs on this block. It's good news all around for Loyola women's volleyball team this week. Not only did they just clinch the Atlantic 10 Conference regular season title, but Berkeley has just announced some new blurs to her pack. 3 incoming freshmen will be added to the team at the start of the 2023 academic year. Up first aboard the team, Kaylee Board, an outside hitter from Lake Worth, Florida. Board has served as a captain her senior year, and according to Loyola Athletics, the 5'11" outside hitter, with what Berkeley says a tremendous vertical, set her high school's best of 3.1 kills per set and 1.6 digs per set. Next, a versatile player entering in as a middle and right side hitter, Olivia Gardner, from Macomb, Michigan to Chicago, Illinois. According to Prep Dig, Gardner was named a top 10 middle hitter, and according to Loyola Athletics, has won a national championship in 2022 at the club level, and hopefully she can assist the Ramblers in a championship as well. Last, but certainly not least, a setter from about 63 miles north of here in Wonder Lake, Illinois, Kylie Schultz. Schultz joins the Ramblers with some impressive stats under her belt. According to Loyola Athletics, she totals 2,200 career assists, 432 kills, 908 digs, and 201 service aces. PrepDigs.com has also named her the 3rd ranked setter in the state of Illinois. It looks like the team is expanding in talent, and we are all excited to see these rookies in action next year. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Vanesa Hoxha.
The Loyola men's basketball team looks ahead to the Myrtle Beach Invitational, an early season tournament that begins November 17th. The Ramblers will look to stay undefeated and make some noise against some recognizable schools. The Ramblers' Myrtle Beach journey begins Thursday when they face the University of Tulsa Golden Hurricanes in the opening round. William Bazzone has his predictions for the tournament.
What's up, Ramblers Nation? Guess what time it is? Oh yeah, it's tournament time. This weekend, the Ramblers travel to the campus of Coastal Carolina University to play in the Myrtle Beach Invitational. This is the Ramblers' first appearance in an ESPN in-season tournament, which was rescheduled from the pandemic season in 2020. They hope to improve upon their 7th place finish at the highly competitive Battle for Atlantis last year. The Ramblers open the tournament against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. If they win, they move on to the semifinals to play the winner of the Boise State and University of Charlotte matchup. Otherwise, they move on to consolation play and can only finish as high as 3rd place. All right, so here's where we're going to go with the bracket. Loyola and Tulsa right here. I think Loyola's going to beat Tulsa. And then we've got Boise State, Charlotte. Boise State's going to win here. We're going all chalk. Now, we have an important update. Murray State upset number 24 Texas A&M. They move on to the semifinals. And UMass beat Colorado, coming off a fresh win against number 11 Tennessee. So we have an upset round here in the semis. Going ahead now to round 2, Loyola and Boise State. I think that's going to be a tough matchup personally. So I'm going to have Loyola dropping into the consolation round. They will play Texas A&M. And that, I think, is going to be our biggest challenge of the season because I originally had them playing Murray State, and I thought it would have been a good matchup on paper, but things change. So I think Loyola is going to lose to A&M. Good fight nonetheless, but they will be playing in the 5th place game. And look at that. They're playing against our A10 rival, UMass. So that's how I think the bracket's going to go. Loyola will finish in 5th place in the tournament. The game against Tulsa is tonight at 8:30 Central and will be broadcast on ESPNU. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm William Bazzone.
Thanks, William.
While the men's basketball team is preparing to play against Myrtle Beach, let's take a look at its last game. A 70-63 victory over the crosstown rival UIC Flames. Lucas Kihmm has the scoop.
The Ramblers took the win here at Credit Union 1 Arena at the University of Illinois, Chicago.
A tale of two teams in one city. More than 3,500 fans filled Credit Union 1 Arena at UIC Friday night. The Flames came out on fire against the Ramblers in the first half. Within 3 minutes, the Flames were up 7-2, but the Ramblers were able to put some water on those Flames and take control of the game, eventually leading 20-12 a couple minutes later. Even though the Ramblers had a generous lead, the Flames were able to take advantage of the 25 turnovers Loyola had and finish the first half just 3 points down. Come second half, it was a back-and-forth battle between the two teams. The game was soon tied at 52-52, but Loyola's St. Thomas hit a layup and one, which sparked the Ramblers to maintain a lead for the rest of the game. The Ramblers won the game 70-63. Tom Welch finished the game with a perfect 6 for 6 in field goals. Play of the game goes to Loyola's Philip Alston, who had a major block near the end of the second half, putting out the Flames of UIC. Coach Drew Valentine commended the team's success, but emphasized the team's need to discipline themselves in the upcoming games.
The Ramblers won't be playing until Thursday, November 17th against the Tulsa Hurricanes. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Lucas Kihmm.
Thanks, Lucas. While the men's team racks up wins against its non-conference opponents, the women's team is off to a 1-2 start after defeating the Western Michigan Broncos, but then falling to the Milwaukee Panthers and the Virginia Cavaliers. The Ramblers had their home opener Wednesday evening. Here's a recap of all the action.
The Loyola Ramblers fell to the University of Virginia 68-62 here at Gentile Arena on November 16th. With the loss, the Ramblers fall to 1-2 on the season. After giving up an immediate layup off the tip-off, Loyola struck right back, with Sophia Nolan 3 leading to 7 unanswered points for the Ramblers for a 7-2 lead. Loyola took this early momentum and did not look back, as they would keep a steady scoring pace against Virginia throughout the half. Junior guard Maya Chandler, who led Loyola in points scored last year, led the way for the Ramblers this game offensively, putting up 14 points in the first half alone, 8 more than any Virginia player. Virginia struggled to put points on the board in the first half. With sloppy passes and going 0 for 5 on 3-point shots, the Cavaliers found themselves off to a slow start. As the first half buzzer came to a close, Chandler hit her second buzzer beater of the game, sending the Ramblers to halftime, leading 35-29. The Cavaliers began the second half hot, led by senior guard Taylor Valladay, who put up 11 points in the third quarter. After a hard-fought back-and-forth battle, Virginia eventually took the lead for good on a jump shot throw from junior guard Mira McLean to make it 52-51. The Cavaliers never looked back from this, as a steady combination of scoring and defense led them to a 68-62 win. With the loss, Loyola held Virginia to a season low in points, with Virginia missing all 10 of their 3-point tries, as well as a stellar performance by junior forward Satori Tannen, who collected 10 defensive rebounds. Loyola also scored the most points against Virginia of any team on the season, led by Chandler, who put up 20 points, and senior Sophia Nolan and Tannen, who both had double-digit points. Head coach Allison Guth said she was proud of the performance from her team, but preached that the team needed to execute the small details more, especially regarding the game clock.
The second component to that is we have to have better ball pressure. That's not the interior post job only. It's the perimeter taking the eyes of the ball and vision. They can't be easy post-up touches.
The Ramblers will travel to Charleston, Illinois to play against Eastern Illinois University on November 20th. Tip-off is set for 2 p.m. and will be broadcast on ESPN+. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Oliver Allen.
Thanks, Oliver. This past Saturday, the Loyola men's rugby team beat Washington University 68-0 in the second round of the national tournament in St. Charles, Illinois. This impressive win earned them a spot in the third round of the national tournament at the Tennessee Rugby Park Field in Knoxville. They will play Auburn University Friday, November 18th at noon. Whether the team win or lose this round, it will still be eligible to compete in the fourth round of the national tournament this upcoming Sunday.
That concludes another action-packed episode of Rambler Sports Locker. To stay up to date on all things Rambler Sports, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Loyola RSL and subscribe to our YouTube channel. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Nate Keough.
And I'm Evan Nave.
And don't forget to turn off the lights.